Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the declassified files of the USS Scorpion to uncover the chilling, acoustic truth behind one of the Cold War's greatest military mysteries. Picture this. It's May 1968, the absolute peak of Cold War paranoia, and we're looking at a story wrapped in layers of ironclad secrecy.
99. That is the number of elite crew members who vanished into a highly classified intelligence blackout aboard the nuclear-powered USS Scorpion. On May 22, 1968, they disappeared. They left behind no distress calls, no surface debris, just a sudden, deafening silence in the deep ocean.
Section 1. The Blackout.
So, let's set the stage. The Scorpion was returning from a highly sensitive, top-secret surveillance mission. Their objective? Intercepting a Soviet naval task force operating right near the Azores. And this wasn't just your standard fleet. It included a specialized Soviet Echo-class nuclear sub built purely to hunt American warships. Now, on May 21st, the commander transmitted a totally routine check-in. He reported absolutely no operational anomalies, a fully functioning vessel, and gave an estimated return date. But when the sub didn't arrive on the 27th, the Navy declared it overdue. Yet, if we look at declassified internal military records, they reveal a staggering truth. The Pentagon's inner circle already knew the sub was dead 5 full days before they ever told the public.
The stark reality of this 5-day cover-up. The military wasn't actually scrambling to find survivors during those 5 days of public silence. No, they were actively managing a massive, highly classified intelligence blackout. They knew exactly what had happened to the sub, and more importantly, they knew exactly when it happened. But how?
That brings us to Section 2, the acoustic autopsy.
All right, to understand how the Pentagon knew the Scorpion had sunk instantly, we have to look at the U.S. military's most closely guarded Cold War secret. It was called SOSUS, the Sound Surveillance System. Think of it as a massive, highly classified network of underwater hydrophones anchored directly to the Atlantic Ocean floor. It was basically a giant wiretap designed to track low-frequency Soviet submarine acoustic signatures. And when acoustic specialists reviewed the SOSUS tapes from May 22nd, they found a terrifying anomaly at exactly 1820 GMT. The arrays picked up a single, massive underwater explosion.
And what followed that initial blast is something that still haunts naval engineers to this day. 15. The hydrophones recorded a precise sequence of 15 distinct explosive pulses. Naval acoustic specialists analyzed the audio and quickly realized this wasn't weapons firing. It was the progressive, horrific sound of the Scorpion's massive steel pressure hull violently imploding. It was literally collapsing, room by room, bulkhead by bulkhead, under the immense weight of the ocean. Now, the time frame here is absolutely crucial. 90 seconds. Those 15 explosive pulses were distributed over exactly 90 agonizing seconds. As the dead submarine lost all power, it plummeted straight past its maximum crush depth. For a minute and a half, the crew and the hull were subjected to a terrifying freefall.
11,000 feet. The massive vessel plunged straight down into the pitch-black abyss of the Atlantic Ocean floor in just a minute and a half. That's over 2 miles down. The SOSUS arrays captured that entire descent, giving the Pentagon an immediate, pinpoint location and timestamp of the disaster.
Which leads us to Section 3, the wreckage contradiction.
So jump to late October 1968. The oceanographic research vessel Mizar finally locates the wreckage resting 11,100 feet down. The Navy deploys deep-sea camera sleds fully expecting to validate their official claim. And what was that claim? That an accidental internal torpedo battery explosion triggered the disaster. But guys, that official theory completely shatters when you actually look at the physical evidence. The forward torpedo room, the exact place this internal explosion supposedly originated, was found perfectly intact. Engineering inspectors noted there was absolutely zero structural warping, zero external tearing, and no signs of internal fire or blast damage in the weapons bay whatsoever.
So if the torpedo room was pristine, where was the damage? While the destruction was concentrated almost entirely in the command operations center, the reactor compartment, and the engine room. The intense structural forces were so violent that the massive stern sections had completely separated and actually telescoped inside the middle sections of the hull under the immense pressure. The operations center, utterly obliterated from the outside in. This screams violent external hull breach or a localized explosion right at the command station. It completely and utterly contradicts the public report of a torpedo failure.
Section 4, the eternal patrol. This staggering physical evidence, combined with that chilling acoustic tracking data, leaves us with massive, unresolved questions. Questions the military has spent decades attempting to rewrite. First up, why wait 5 full days to announce the disappearance? If the SOS hydrophone network captured the exact timestamp and geographic location of the hull's destruction instantly, why execute a massive public blackout? What exactly were they managing during those 5 days?
Second, and this is a glaring engineering contradiction, doesn't the pristine forward torpedo room completely disprove the internal explosion theory? Considering the totally undamaged state of the weapons bay, how can the military possibly maintain their official narrative that a faulty torpedo battery brought down an elite nuclear submarine? It just doesn't add up.
And finally, perhaps the most chilling question of all, what critical intelligence did the Scorpion actually gather on that Soviet task force? Remember, they were tracking a specialized Echo-class sub designed purely to hunt American warships. What exactly did the USS Scorpion witness in those dark waters near the Azores that requires its operational logs and structural inspection files to remain locked behind ironclad military secrecy over half a century later?
So, what catalyzed their final 90 seconds? Today, those 99 elite crew members remain on eternal patrol, resting in the freezing, dark trenches of the Atlantic. The declassified acoustic files tell us exactly how they died, recording every harrowing pulse of their descent. But the Navy's own wreckage photos cast massive doubt on the why. We're left to forever wonder what truly triggered their terrifying 90-second plunge into the abyss.